Hello and welcome to the Daily Mill for Saturday, the 27th of August, 2022. Today was match day, and Mill lost at home. First time in a long time. And we lost at home to Reading. It's the first time in a long time that they've won at the Den. So this is the match report from millfc.co.uk. Mill suffer home defeat to Reading. Reading were 1-0 winners over Millwall at the Den on Saturday afternoon in the Sky Bet Championship. Naby Sarr's header gave Paul Ince the lead early on in the first half to inflict a first home defeat of the campaign on the Lions. The manager made 3 changes, one enforced from the loss to Norwich City last Friday, with Jake Cooper, Jamie Shackleton and Tom Bradshaw coming in for the injured Ryan Leonard, Billy Mitchell and Tyler Berry, the latter pair dropping to the bench. The Lions started brightly in the sunshine and pressed their opponents into making mistakes. A chance came Millwall's way in just the 3rd minute, but after George Chappell's cross was flicked towards goal by Bradshaw, the dive of Joe Lumley allowed the save to be made. Following that frenetic opening, the Royals' first effort on goal came from Tyrese Forner, but he found his shot blocked before, with 40 minutes played, Reading took the lead as, on his debut, Sarr pounced at the back post to head home. Straight after that, it looked as though the Lions could have had a penalty, but referee Chris Kavanagh was unmoved as Bradshaw was dragged to the ground. A period with a severe lack of goalmouth action was to follow until 1 minute before the half-time break, when Bradshaw nodded a Cooper pass over crossbar. Shackleton's cutback went begging 5 minutes into the second half before Jeff Hendrick broke through at the other end and looked set to score, but was prevented by a big save from Bartosz Białkowski from close range. A triple substitution saw Bury, Simon Fleming, and Andreas Vogelsammer enter the field shortly before the hour mark, and despite the Lions having the ball in the net on 66 minutes, the assistant referee signalled for offside and Cooper's header was disallowed. Vogelsammer then broke through but was snuffed out by the Reading defence as the noise levels inside the Den began to rise, with Reading's delaying tactics doing nothing but adding fuel to the fire, and with Millwall breaking forward through Benik Afobe on 79 minutes, it looked as though Lumley would be tested, but the striker opted to shoot and find his attempt blocked instead of sliding in the unmarked Bury to his left. There were just 7 minutes left to play when the Royals were able to develop a 3-on-1 situation and looked set to seal the deal, but substitute Shane Long's effort failed to trouble a stranded Białkowski's goal, rolling wide of the far post. 3 minutes from time, Danny McMahon's deflected cross hit the post and bounced clear as Millwall looked for a late leveller, with Sean Hutchinson heading a Savile corner over into 7 minutes of stoppage time. Cooper's tame attempt at goal proved to be the final nail as the referee blew time on the first home defeat of the campaign shortly after. And the team was as follows: Białkowski, Murray, Wallace, Cooper, Hutchinson, Malone, Shackleton, Saville, McNamara, Afobe, Bradshaw, Honeyman, and the unused subs were Cresswell and Billy Mitchell, and Vogelsammer came on for Malone, 57th minute. George Evans came on for Shackleton in the 85th minute, which is just what you need when you're trying to get a goal, is to bring George Evans on, isn't it? Zion Fleming came on for Bradshaw, not Afobe. A lot of people in the crowd would have wished it was Afobe, but it was actually Bradshaw, so that's incorrect there. And Tyler Berry came on for George Honeyman on the 57th minute. So there you go. One thing not mentioned in this match report is that there was a break in play for a medical emergency. A fan collapsed in the Docker stand, and still yet to hear back from him. He seemed to be okay. He was going around on the stretcher, but we still yet to hear about that. One thing that happened is that Millwall were very attacking, but they didn't really have any clear-cut chances. We had around 13 shots and only one of them was on target. Now, Reading had one shot on target, but they had 5 and they made their chances count. They should have probably been scored 3 goals today. As we've just read, Jeff Hendrick, his chance. He's not a striker, but he got sent through. And if he was a striker, he probably would have put that in the corner. But he kind of straight at Biakowski. Shane Long as well. He came off the bench, probably a bit rusty. He missed as well. He didn't even get his on target, so shocking. Yeah, we could have lost that game 3-0, and we were very, very, very rough up front. We didn't look like scoring at all. I think it's a bit of a shock because everyone was assumed that we were great at home. We were unbeatable. Well, we're not. We just got beaten at home. So now what? Yeah, team selection as well, and we'll get onto that now. So this is from londonnewsonline.co.uk, South London Press's online website. Maybe that was a wrong decision. Mill Boston's decision not to start attacking trio against Reading. Gary Rowett has revealed why he opted not to start Zion Fleming, Andreas Vogelsammer, or Tyler Berry in Mill's 1-0 defeat to Reading today. The trio all came on in the second period at the Den. Zion didn't start the first game because we felt he might need 1 or 2 games to understand the championship from off the bench, said Rowett. He's then got injured, came back, and had 1 day's training before the Norwich game. Bogey came in on the back of only starting 5 or 6 games a season, a game we wanted to be in a position to affect games for long periods. Tyler the same. I felt the game would be too tight to start him. Maybe that was a wrong decision, I'm not sure. But certainly coming on they made a difference, and we need to be more creative in the final third. Those players have been brought in to help us do that. That's great, but we also need to do is get back to clean sheets and be difficult to play against. At the moment we've been far too easy to score against this season. We've had opportunities in games and moments where we need to make better decisions in final third areas. I think Bennett probably needs to put Tyler in for his chance. He makes the decision not to, that's fine, but those are moments that define the situation. We had such a good home record, there was no real need for one more game to change it. We needed to do what we've previously done, that didn't work today, so after the game I had that thought, should I have started them or 1 or 2, we have been good in training. You don't want to fall too far behind, but we've got 40 games left in the season. The important bit is when they come into the team, they are ready to stay in the team and help make the team better. We need players to affect the game, whether that is from the start or coming on. Today we didn't affect the game enough at the start of the match, and we need to be better at that. So interestingly, there he's kind of called Bennett out there. They're saying he should have passed it. Does this mean we might get Bennett? Is a thing. See, he's talking about which players he's going to start, and they need if they're going to come in, they need to be able to stay in. What are you talking about? You change the team all the time. It's constantly changing. We don't know the best 11 players, and neither do you. No one knows. What the fans are, they see what they see, and they say, this player is playing shit, get him out, get someone else in. What is that? That's form. The form players. Who is out of form? Well, we know who's out of form. Benikophobia is out of form. He's not playing too well at the moment. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, the final third, there's not a lot going on creativity. So, yeah, that might be true. But he's still getting shots away. And he's still not scoring. So, if he's out of form, put him on the bench, bring someone else on. And if because here's the thing, they might score. And if they do, good luck. If they don't, then you can bring Benikophobia back in again. And he might be a bit more motivated because he's just had to sit on the bench for a game and he's not happy about that. And here's the thing, he keeps going on about this. When they come into the team, they are ready to stay in the team and help make the team better. We've got a game today against Reading. We've lost it 1-0. We now have 2 days off, and we have another game at Burnley away on Tuesday. Please, for the love of God, do not play the same team twice. Change it. Why are you expecting the same players to play 2 90-minute games in 3 days? That's stupid. That is absolutely stupid. Football nowadays is a squad matter. You said when assessing the youngsters, are they good enough? They're not being given a free ride. If they're good enough to get in the first team squad, they need to be good enough to be in the first team squad. That's what you said. Because they need to come on and perform. Then there's a standard there. So if there's a standard there, what does it matter? What does it matter? Change one player for another. Swap them out. Why are you playing Benik when he's not scoring? He's a striker, not scoring. And a lot of people were saying the same about Billy Mitchell. Billy Mitchell got dropped today. Well, we lost. Does that mean we should probably play Billy Mitchell? Because Billy Mitchell's played in every game we've won so far this season. Is that how it works? I don't know. But a lot of the fans are on Billy Mitchell's case because he keeps the ball by passing it backwards. God forbid that we should keep the ball. And a lot of fans are digging out Malone as well. Even though Malone has 2 assists so far this season. We scored 7 goals, including the 2 own goals. And Scott Malone's got 2 assists from those 7 goals. He's a top assist for Millwall at the moment. But a lot of the fans are turning on and want him out of the team. Because they can see and they think he's out of form. Does Gary Rowett know what he's doing? He got lucky last season when half the squad was injured. He had to play a certain 11 first team players and that was it. He couldn't do anything. He couldn't mess around with the team. He couldn't tinker with it. And he was hamstrung and the success came when he couldn't mess around with it. When the toys were broken and he couldn't play with them. Does Gary Rowett know what he's doing? I don't know. Well, let's have a look. This is also from londonnewsonline.co.uk. Mill boss admits his side need more of a cutting edge after Den reversed to Reading. Mill manager Gary Rowett admitted his side paid the price for lack of cutting edge as they lost 1-0 to Reading today. The Royals moved top of the championship table with former Charlton defender Naby Sarr heading the only goal in the first half. The South Londoners had won 5 in a row in the league at home coming into the contest. We started brightly and put them under a lot of pressure early on, said Rowett. You can't keep coming back and finding a solution in games when you're behind. We scored the first goal only in the Stoke game, in 6 league games and 1 cup game. This division is defined by that a lot of the time. Reading has some spells where they moved the ball quite well, but ultimately they've been playing away. They did the same against Middlesbrough and other ones where they would play 5-3-2 sitting and made it really tough. They haven't had loads of possession in games, but they've been really resilient. They picked a big-ish team, putting Sarr in and McIntyre at left back, to potentially cope with our set piece and physicality. What you don't expect at that point after starting so well is to concede a really poor set piece after 14 minutes. First half, we huffed and puffed a little bit and came away from what we were trying to do. We got a little bit edgy and frantic. We didn't move the ball with enough composure and just started to force things. I nearly changed it at half time. So, why didn't you? But our home form has been really good, and so there was no real need to massive change of what we've been doing. The 3 players who came on early in the second period, or in the 60th minute roughly, is that really early in the second period? Made a big difference. We were a lot more creative and got in better areas. We just couldn't find that from a moment that changes the game. At the Den, Reading sat in and defended very resiliently. They could have had a couple of breakaways where we just go chasing it a little bit and are too open. Millwall did have the ball in Joe Lumley's net in the 66th minute, but it was disallowed. I think Benik gets a touch and it's probably offside, said Rat. The official said Benik was offside from the initial ball in, which he wasn't. I'm not quite sure what they were seeing there. I've got no complaints about that necessarily. We had one where Fogey looks like he's about to score, and the lad comes steaming across and makes a last-ditch tackle. We have a couple of moments in the first half. The Spreaders get pushed out of the way in the box. The ref gives a similar one down in the bottom corner, he said. One's in the box and one's not. I've got no idea what a foul is anymore. We've got to be better breaking Reading down. Second half performance was far more encouraging, but ultimately we couldn't find the goal that changes the game. Yeah, exactly. We couldn't find the goal that changes the game. Now, Ryan Leonard was not in the matchday squad today. Not what that means is obviously he's injured, and he is injured. So Millwall's Ryan Leonard out for months with a hamstring tear. Gary Rowett has confirmed that Ryan Leonard will miss 2 or 3 months after tearing his hamstring in training. Leonard was absent from the matchday squad as the Lions lost 1-0 to Reading today, a result that ended their 100% home winning record. He pulled his hamstring in training on Thursday, said Rowett. He came out Friday and felt fine. It wasn't an issue. He went in for a scan and we thought it was pretty innocuous. It turns out he's torn his hamstring and it looks like he could be out for 2 or 3 months. Very disappointing. It didn't look like anything in particular. He can't remember an incident where he's done it. It's been a frustrating period for Leonard. The former South End captain missed 23 championship games last season due to different injuries and is now set for another period on the sidelines. Before he joined the club, he had such a good record of playing games and he's so robust and a really fit lad, said Rand. But for whatever reason, over the last 2 years, he's missed the majority of it with injuries. Yeah, what is the reason? For whatever reason, why do we have so many injuries? Why? Why is that? Could it be the training? It's frustrating for him, and we will try and help him and pick him up. But when you get into the team and you look good, and suddenly you have to make another change, it's disappointing for us. So far this season, we've had too many times we've had to change the team, but that's what you've got a squad for, and that's what you've got to do. You're always going to get little things, but it's disappointing for Lenny, such a serious one, hardly anything actually happening. It's not like Bainson Bennett's, where he's sprinting and crosses it and you can clearly see the action. There was virtually nothing there. It's very frustrating. So yeah, there you go. Another injury. Another injury to another injury-prone player who was playing a lot of games before he came to Millwall, and suddenly he gets injured all the time. Very weird, that, isn't it? Very weird. And on that note, thank you for watching, and goodbye.